Welcome back. This is AM News. Now, in the very first story, the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice is warning of potential human rights breaches in the proposed anti-LGBTQI+ bill. The caution came during a stakeholder engagement convened by Parliament's Constitutional and Legal Affairs Committee following a referral by the Speaker. Charge Director for Human Rights, Mary Nati, says efforts to protect social values must not undermine the rights of individuals. James Aveji reports.
The two-day stakeholder engagement on the anti-LGBTQ bill is to seek input and propose amendment from stakeholders into the bill. Here are some suggestions from some groups.
I'll be very happy if we speak about the removal of the proposed surgery for person living with intersex, because there is biological. It is not medical something. They were born with it.
Director in charge of human rights at the Commission on Human Rights and Administrative Justice, Mary Nate, warned that in the bid to protect social values, the bill must also uphold the rights of all individuals.
The fact that the bill must be looked at within the lens of human rights is something we need to underscore in this dialogue. So we will plead with members to look at the bill. Yes, we agree that we have values. However, humanity is a key principle. And so when we are considering the bill, let's have in mind the core principles. And I want to associate myself with the Human Rights Chair and the submission that they made. That it's important that the key principles of human rights are brought to bear in our discourse.
A number of clauses which came under severe criticism are those who sought to discriminate persons born with two sexual organs, attempt to criminalize sexual educations for academic and health purposes, the validity of marriages of gay diplomats, and the role of international fund partners in the bill. Members of the committee unanimously agreed to allow only the laws of Ghana and the sovereignty of the country to take interest over any international influence. In the midst of all this, some members did not lose the opportunity to take a swipe at each other.
There's a gentleman for whom a video was leaked and an altercation between himself and a male lover of him came up last year. A gentleman known as Educator. Now, he can be charged on the basis of the video of male and male intercourse. That is a different thing. Male who claims that he has transitioned to a female and has held himself out on TV and done music videos and now claims that he is having intersex with Honorable Intim Fojo, and that Honorable Intim Fojo is his gay lover. Why are we saying that someone like this individual who has gone out to hold out and is even making such claims, we are saying we can't hold the person is not holding, and that is not prosecutable?
Chairman, my name has come up. It is important I respond. Maxine, in her old or present life, no, it's important. In her old or present life, as contrary to her claim, contrary to his or her claim that she has had some, perversive intercourse with me, I've never engaged in any sexual intercourse, apart from what God created between Adam and Eve.
The Ningo Pram MP Sam George assured that he will get the bill passed, contrary to some assertions that he has abandoned the responsibility after getting into government.
I have heard people who have said Sam George and his colleague sponsors have abandoned. We've run away because I've been appointed minister. Chair, the process is the process. One of the reasons my chiefs and people had returned me to the 9th Parliament was because they thought I had unfinished business from the 8th Parliament, which was the passage of this bill. And so I indicated that I was going to reintroduce the bill even as a 7th minister if I was approved by Parliament.
The committee will continue its engagement on Friday. James Aveji, Joy News. Fulfillment of Parliament standing orders.
Now, the Traditional Medicine Practice Council, the regulatory body overseeing herbal and traditional medicine practice in Ghana, has begun an enforcement exercise targeting illegal practitioners and unlicensed sellers across the country. The operation, which took place in parts of Accra, including Westlands, is aimed at verifying whether practitioners and shop owners have valid licenses to operate, as authorities intensify efforts to sanitize the sector and protect public health. There's more in the following report.
In the busy corners of Accra, herbal medicines and traditional therapies have become part of daily lives. It's all over. But behind these services is a big question about licensing and regulation. Who is checking whether these practitioners are doing the right thing? Now, the Traditional Medicine Practice Council is taking action, moving in to enforce the law and ensure that only certified practitioners and licensed businesses are allowed to operate. Leading the operation is Head of Compliance and Enforcement at the Council, Michael Lawson. He says the exercise is not only about enforcing the law, but to increase public awareness on the role of the Council.
So it's basically a series of processes. So the process is basically the inspection, the enforcement, which ends up achieving compliance with the TMPC Act 2000 Act 575. Currently, the focus is in Greater Accra, but there is a bigger itinerary. The bigger itinerary is targeted towards other regions. So basically, the 16 regions in Ghana. We'll be visiting all those regions to ensure that the practitioners over there, they are complying with TMPC.
While those with expired licenses are being directed to report to the Council's office for renewal, while some businesses are being shut down, others are taking steps to comply, heading to the Council's office to renew their license. Michael Lawson cautioned that unregulated services pose a risk to public health and stressed the need for strict compliance to build trust in the sector and regularize the operations.
So this one, it is also a platform to appeal to the general public and people who are also in the provision of these services. If you happen to find yourself to provide any of these services that are listed, kindly ensure that you take the necessary steps to ensure that you get your facility licensed, and also ensure that all the people who are providing these services within your facility are certified, so that when officers come, they know that the facility is licensed. When the public also comes there, they know that there's some kind of public trust.
Martha Sewa Boash's report for Joy News.
Let's talk about education now. Limited access to reading materials is threatening teaching and learning among basic school pupils in the Nkwantanan-Madina area. The Municipal Directorate of Education warns that despite committed teachers and targeted interventions like the DL Learning Plus program, currently running weekly in 9 low-performing schools, progress could stall without adequate books. This has prompted urgent calls for partnerships with publishers and stakeholders to supply learning resources and sustain the impact. Deborah Inimwa-Bedu has more in the following report.
The Nkwantanan-Madina Municipal Directorate of Education says limited access to reading materials is still slowing efforts to improve literacy in basic schools, even as ongoing programs show clear progress. The DL Learning Plus program, running weekly in 9 low-performing schools, is helping pupils read better, understand text, and retell what they learn. But officials warn that without enough books and learning materials, these gains could easily be lost.
We need the materials. Okay, the teachers are there to help, but we may have we have resource constraints. So if they provide us with reading materials, it will help our learners even to borrow some of these materials and go and read them over the weekend, and at the weekday they bring them back. Anyone like Ghana Book Publishers Corporation is welcome we will partner with them to ensure that we add value to the reading ability of our learners.
Meanwhile, at the national level, the Education Director for the Ghana Books Development Council, Nesti Sialate Asionora, says it is supplying free books to basic schools across the country in partnership with stakeholders to strengthen reading culture and stock classrooms and libraries.
Together with all our partners, we are providing a lot of books to basic schools all over the country. So if we haven't reached your school yet, watch out. Very soon we'll be very close to a school near you or probably even within your school. We've started with English books, but we are also producing a lot of books in various indigenous languages because we are not only promoting reading in English, but promoting reading in our indigenous languages.
Among pupils, reading is widely embraced and enjoyed, with some saying it has improved their academic performance. However, they note that the shortage of books makes it difficult to practice regularly and maintain consistency in reading.
Normally in the evening, I spend 2 to 3 hours on my books to read and at least understand. And if I have any problem, either I consult somebody at home or when I come to school, I consult my teacher.
With reading, it has broadened my knowledge about things happening around us. And also, it has helped me to improve on my academics to the delight of my parents. And
stakeholders are therefore urging strong collaboration between government, publishers and education partners to ensure sustained access to books and strengthen literacy development nationwide. For Joy News, Deborah Enimwa Beidu's report read to you.
Let me now take you to the Upper West region. The National Vice Chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Chief Soto Azoka, has dismissed suggestions that the party's national chairman is using the thank you tour to galvanize grassroots support for a future flag-bearer bid. He stressed that Mr. Johnson Asiedu Nketia has not promoted himself or acted improperly during the tour, but is rather addressing promises made by the NDC in the run-up to the 2024 polls. Join us as Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafik Salam reports from more.
The past few weeks have seen the national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, busily engaged in a whistle-stop tour on some constituencies in the country, dubbed Thank You Tour. According to Johnson Asiedu Nketia, he is embarking on the tour to thank supporters of the party for voting massively for the NDC to win the 2024 polls and to reassure the base of the party that they haven't forgotten of the promises they made in the run-up to the elections, stating that the party is bent on fulfilling each of the social contracts they made with the people.
And as we promise each other, we promise to keep faith, to make sure that everybody will deliver his side of the bargain. That is why I am here today, to discharge one of the conditions of our contract, and that is to come and thank you for the votes.
However, for some close observers of the political space, the NDC chairman is rather embarking to entrench himself with the grassroots supporters of the party, aimed at preparing him to be the next leader of the NDC. A national vice chairman of the NDC, Chief Soto Azoka, who is accompanying the national chairman on the tour, strenuously disagreed.
Many people are saying he's campaigning, not a thank you tour.
Oh, no. But you are journalists. When he stand here, is it mention his name? I said Nketia will do this. He's telling the people that it's a promise. If we win, we'll come back again. And we win.
So there's no way that he'll put his name on the ballot for NDC.
You are asking me. If the day President Mama says he should not go again, we'll see who will come. The time. So
you yourself, currently you are vice chairman of the NDC. Yeah. Are you going to run for elections again?
Oh, if God say I should run, I'll run. I can say that today. I'm going. Then you hear that I die. I will say I will not go. Then God give me long life. So if God say anything, Wallah, thank God.
Chief Akufo-Addo said, with the good management of the economy, coupled with the good and modest leadership of President John Dramani Mahama, he is of the firm belief that the NDC will be at the helm of power in the country for the next 12 years.
What the NDC has so far done, between that they can retain after 2028.
How 2028? You know, say we are going 4 times, 12 years.
So 4 years, that will be about 2040.
But look, this country, our Ghana here, they are very clever. You can't boss them. So President Mama promised them that he will change the country. He will bring development. And today, that people are saying that 1 year development is okay for them.
So that's why they need another 12 years.
12 years. 2027, the common fund of DCs, they are increasing it too. If they give them low, 27 they will increase it. 28 they will increase it. So the whole country will be quiet.
Chief Akufo-Addo discounted claims that he's a violent person, stating he's humble and frowns on injustice.
No, today, you know, any growing up, everybody is growing. So you must focus that you are growing.
So Chairman Azoka is no more of that violent type.
I'm not a violent person. I'm a peace guy. If you wanted to teach me, I won't allow it.
Reporting for Dwayne News, Rafik Salam, Chago.
Well, it's now time for business. The Ahanta Pele Samuel Kujubris will bring us that right after this breather.
Let's do business updates now. And cocoa farmers in Ghana are worried that delay in paying for their beans of up to 6 months are hampering them from harvesting a rain-boosted mid-crop. The farmers say they anticipate bumper harvest, but are discouraged from harvesting their produce due to delayed payments. Details in this report.
According to Reuters, Ghanaian farmers it engaged said the delays have drained the operating funds, leaving them unable to hire labor or cover harvesting costs in Ghana, where the cocoa sector supports the livelihoods of some 800,000 farming families. The Ghana Cocoa Cooperatives Association Vice President Theophilus Tamaklo said farmers have cocoa on the trees that needs to be harvested, but there is no money to do that. He disclosed that he has 14 freshly harvested bags weighing 896 kilograms, nearly a metric ton, in his warehouse, which he has refused to hand over to buyers on credit. Some farmers insisted that they will only release them to licensed buying companies that pays instantly.
Well, Associate Professor of Finance at the University of Cape Coast Business School, Professor Sarah Mkawo, has expressed concern over the decline in bank credit to the real sector, warning that limited private sector lending could slow Ghana's economic recovery. He noted that while high T-bill yields and perceived risk in the private sector explain the trend, the outcome is counterproductive. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Kawo called for broader engagement between stakeholders to design risk-sharing schemes, credit guarantees, and targeted incentives that make lending to private sector attractive again.
In terms of the rates, I do not think so. The rates are lower. That will give enough motivation for the banks to lend to the private sector. But what is happening is that there is a risk component, the uncertainty of receiving the money. The treasury bill currently is the most safe investment instrument in the country where the government will not default in the payment of this. And so the banks are using, excuse me to use the word, the lazy approach type. They don't want to take more risk. And for that reason, they prefer buying the treasury bill because those ones are safer. They are liquid. They'll be able to get their money at any time they want to get that amount of money. But the private sector comes with more work, where you need to look at their financials, look at their sustainabilities, making sure that their cash flows are okay, they will be able to pay your money in time. Right. And so some of these things are the ones that are affecting the rate. Right. As I said earlier on, government needs to sit up with all the players in the entity to ensure that there is more funds that are channeled towards the real sectors of the economy.
And indeed, that needs to be looked at so that banks can lend to the private sector, the real economy, the real sector, so that we can help in the economic recovery. And that's how we wrap up the business update. Back to you, Denisha.
Thank you, Ahanta Pele. Well, that's it for the AM News. But don't forget that the AM show is sponsored by Shield Silicon Paints from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and also Time Herbal Mixture. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we enjoy today's moments, don't forget to keep your body refreshed and your energy right with Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water. Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water is not just any water. It's mineral rich that keeps you going. So whether you're dancing, cheering, or simply enjoying the moment, Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water is what you need. So grab a bottle available in 500 ml, 20-liter jars, and sachets. So you can contact Fresh Drop Still Natural Mineral Water on 055-2250-290. And that's it for the AM News. My name is Denise Apomaje. For more news, please do log on to myjournalline.com. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of the show. Have a lovely Friday and a wonderful weekend.
Once again, and welcome to the AM show. Time for us to go into matters arising segment, but let's start with what the papers are reporting this morning. You know what? I heard my producers say, what win can you win to this story? Well, Ghana's new coach, Black Stars coach, says, I'm here to win. Carlos Queiroz, at his unveiling yesterday, promised that he's going to win. He says, we're control a lot of coaches, right? But he's going to do his best. So let's see how it goes, and we will all support him with our best to ensure that Black Stars go far. Because when we go farther in the World Cup, it helps all of us as a country. Governor urges shift from diaspora remittances to investment. That's also a story there. All set to celebrate Asante as pillar of peace. That's on page 22 and 27. Now, you know this man. When it comes to pharmacy in Ghana, you won't talk without mentioning him. Tobinko, Elder Tobin, he is urging increased government support for pharmaceutical industry. Stories on page 20 of the Daily Graphic. At the back page of the Daily Graphic, it says, take active role in fighting misinformation, disinformation. Dr. Agyeman-Rawlings speaks, and DVLA uncovers widespread fake and expired DV number plates, warns of impending prosecutions. That story is there as well. Let's do other papers here. Okay, maybe I will help me from the back. So those are the stories in the Daily Graphic today. Let's do Daily Guide. Government backs NLA KGL contract. Director General is speaking. You remember this deal when the government came in? There were a lot of stories about how bad this was, and the government should review. Government were made to understand that it's backing that particular deal. Now, OSP challenges no power to prosecute order. In the aftermath of this whole High Court ruling, the CSOs have been urged OSP. After OSP gave the indication that he would challenge it, now we understand that he will be challenging that one. We are not illegal miners, angry Nzima youth to Adamos resources. Ghana among U.S. car theft destinations. Hey, interesting. Shift operations to local contractors, government to mining firms. But the mining firms have been saying that this is already a discussion that has been going on. They want to see how they can give contracts to local companies. But government is back in this, and minority, we understand, backs that one as well. Let's do other papers here. Insight. Okay, let's do publisher. Angry Otufo slams ministers over Sampa. The story is on page 2. Pass anti-LGBTQ bill in current form, Tampuli says, and Gabriel Tanko Atople was not declared wanted. Yoko is clarifying, and His Excellency Gabriel Tanko Atople is the Council of State member from the Volta region. You remember the story that came up some time ago. He secured a high court injunction, and now the Yoko is explaining that he was not declared wanted. Okay, get details on page 2 of the publisher, the Ghanaian publisher. Chiefs gave government 7-day ultimatum over 1 billion cedis bui compensation. That is there. And today, I guess, is the birthday of the Chief of Staff. 60 years today. So the publisher, the Ghanaian publisher, is celebrating him. So 60 years of life, 60 years of purpose, 60 years of national impact. Today, we honor Honorable Julius Deborah, a leader whose journey continues to inspire. Happy birthday, sir. So happy birthday to the Chief of Staff, Julius Deborah. Wherever you are, sir, do have a great day as you go through today. All right. Let's do other papers here. The News Guide Africa Visionary Leadership. Dr. Abe steering Ghana towards a new era of cocoa value addition. Those are the stories there. Okay. News Center. 30% of gold bought surplus to assist small-scale miners. Story was on page 6, so that's the story there. You can read it and understand. From IGP Porteria, Kwe dies after illness. Oh. Our condolences to the bereaved families there. And Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. Hey. Wow, okay. All right, I've heard some people talking about that the harm that Galamsey is causing outpaces slavery, and pediatricians call on Mahama to declare state of emergency now. Okay. All right. So that is the story there. And also, Nestle, for good initiative launched in Ghana, MTN Masterclass blends wellness with wealth creation. I want to start the discussion from here. Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. Let me introduce to you my guest, Professor Bwedi, is the Dean of the Faculty of Accounting and Finance at UPSA. Prof, good morning to you. Sounds all good?
Very well.
Okay.
Yourself?
I'm well. You know.
Yeah, well, last week we were not here. So.
Yeah, last week I was here.
Oh, you were here. We were not here.
Yeah, you were not. You were not. Yes. And the Dad of the God of EP. The Dad come out himself. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey. Everything good?
Everything good.
Anyway, let's start from here. Galamsey outpaces slavery harm. I mean, is it hard to agree with this? Because the pediatricians who see patients on a daily basis, they are calling on President Mahama to declare a state of emergency now, from what they see.
So let me wish your lovely viewers a good morning. Let me wish my brother, Professor, a good morning, yourself, a good morning. Wish the people of Ghana a good morning. I think the pediatrician who made this comparison couldn't have put it better. I think there's no argument as to the fact that Galamsey still is an existential threat. When we say an existential threat, we are talking about something, an activity that can affect the existence of human beings themselves. And I don't think he could have placed it better because slavery, we all know the impact of slavery. We are still suffering from the impact of slavery. To the extent as recently we made a lot of noise about the call for reparations. Yes, but you see, that's how serious the Galamsey issue is. And when you look at it from the perspective that the doctor is saying, then you can't escape the disappointment with how, or with the fundamental lack of commitment being exhibited by our politicians. As our politicians, I'm not talking about LPNDs, all of them. Because, yes, in 2024, there were calls for demonstration. I personally called that we demonstrated until Anado, what's it called? Step down.
Declared out.
Oh, step down. Yeah, because I feel that one of the fundamental duties of the president from our constitution is a duty that is placed on him by reason of the creation in him as a trust in relation to our natural resources. And one of the fundamental duties of a trust is to protect the property and all the incidents of the property. Yeah, I understand. So that if we have placed in the president a trust over the exploitation of our natural resources, then impliedly there's also a trust created in him in terms of ensuring that we exploit these resources in a sustainable manner, in a manner that would not lead to this essential threat. Now, you know that in Galamsey, which is simply as people mining one without license, or mining outside of the scope of their license, or using unlawful and illegal mining practices to mine. So if Galamsey also includes an activity that essentially is stealing the trust property, and the persons in whom a trust has been given, and that person is the president, and we cannot find a solution because of a fundamental lack of commitment.
So why are you not calling on President Mahama to step down then?
No, so he's been in power for a year and a half. I'm still not convinced about the message he's using. Now the question is, am I convinced that he slept enough or he's not placing enough effort just over a period of 1.5 years? I don't think so. Because when Anado came, in spite of the fact that he said that he was going to place his presidency on the line, we all saw that way. But by the end of his first term, he had failed in terms of the fight against Galamsey. But we didn't call on him to step down. We felt that this is a battle, this is a war that obviously cannot be won over a course of a year or two. So by the 7th year, I'm coming. So by the 7th year, because that call was made on him in September. I made that call on him in September 2024. After almost the end of his tenure, you get a picture. Now they've created NIMOS. Clearly, the battle isn't being won. The question is, am I convinced after just a year and a half that the president cannot do anything to the extent that I'll give up on him? I don't think so. No, I haven't gotten to that point. But that does not mean that there's still a fundamental deficit in our efforts to deal with Galamsey. And you see, and the problem, in my opinion, stems from the fact that the perpetrators of Galamsey are essentially the political actors, the political apparatchiks. You understand? So the way I see it, when let's say when MPP was in power, largely the Galamsey was done by the MPP apparatchiks. And there are enough evidence to suggest that as of today, members in the NDC have taken over and they are doing the Galamsey. I recall last year, I think their organizer, what's his name?
The fair guy.
Yeah, the fair guy. And I think one of their vice presidents, Abanga.
No, second vice.
Second vice. Yeah.
Chairman.
I think
the matter came up. The president recommended to the CID also to investigate the matter.
So how far with that? I think we should follow up with that. How far with that? Because you see, we cannot purport to prosecute Chemawuntumi over allegations of Galamsey, and where people who are in the NDC, as a call has been made that investigation be done upon them, we do not hear any information as to what is happening there. Because that is the biggest, in my opinion, problem in our battle against Galamsey. We need to have the president show fidelity to the terms of the oath he took. He took an oath to be faithful to Ghana. And I think that fidelity, that call for fidelity will be shown if he's seen to be prosecuting people in his party who have actually done Galamsey.
You understand? So Abanga and then the
national organizer.
We are calling the president to tell something, to give us info. The CID or the AG, whoever, what is happening with their investigation. You recall that sometime last year, in fact, I think Joy, you put me or one of your sister stations brought up a story about a company in Obuasi that had genuinely acquired a concession, and NDC members practically drove them out of
concession.
Their concession and took over. You understand? What is happening with all those issues? You understand? Well, trust me, if we reach a point where we realize that the efforts at fighting Galamsey is the usual sham, let's do something to represent something. Then yes, in the spirit of consistency, a call must be made on His Excellency Jomama to step down also.
But if you look at the society of the Patriotic Society of Ghana, they say that at the heart of the argument is a chilling warning that illegal mining is inflicting irreversible damage, not only on current population, but also on future generations. For example, the impact on children, on babies that we've seen. So mustn't that state of emergency be declared for us to save people?
So we all called the president to declare a state of emergency. The president said he had enough arsenal, you understand, within his system to fight. Because usually when you call a state of emergency, then the believers, you've reached your wit's end, and right now you must create a system where you'll be granted extraordinary powers outside of to then deal with the issue. Now, ever since the president made that argument, are we convinced? Are we, the people of Ghana, convinced that indeed he has enough powers as things stands now to deal with the Galamsey issue? So they have 9 months. That's what I'm saying, that as for the effects of Galamsey, there cannot be an argument over them. I've seen reports that some water bodies are recovering. Oh, I've seen reports. I think the UN Ankobra. That's what I said. We've seen reports. Yeah, you understand? We've seen reports. Now, clearly, if they can't fight, and well, from one certain, there's something that suggests that indeed we are fighting the Galamsey issue with the seriousness that you require. Because you're talking about something whose effect is existential. You're talking about an activity that disturbs the ecosystem. You're talking about an activity, you understand, that places in our water bodies and into our environment hard metals like mercury, lead and all. So yes, I feel from what I'm sitting now, I think we shouldn't sleep on our call on the president to declare that state of emergency. But from where I'm sitting, like I said, I do not see us winning that battle. And there are key issues here. That's what I'm saying, that if we are prosecuting Chemawu to me for allegations that he engaged in Galamsey, then we must also be serious with investigations concerning senior NDC members. Yes, who the president himself called for investigation to be. So they should tell us. The investigation that the president asked the CID to conduct on Abanga and to how far. You see, they should give us some report, because I'm telling you, once we have a president who has the courage, the cojones, to deal with the Galamseyers in his party, senior men in his party who are engaged in Galamsey, then the battle will be so easy. Because imagine they do an honest investigation. I'm not saying anybody is a suspect. And then that honest investigation shows that indeed Amanga and I don't know why I have forgotten his name.
But also,
what's called, are indeed engaged in Galamsey. And there's an honest prosecution that leads to a conviction. Do you know the message it would have sent? Okay, yes, right. So ordinary people who are engaged in Galamsey will simply tell themselves that if this regime has managed to convict senior members in their party who are engaged in Galamsey, you understand, then we should think about this activity. Will serve us enough deterrent. So I'm calling on the president that in the spirit of the oath you took to Ghana, you took when he was being sworn in, to be faithful to Ghana. You understand? To defend, preserve, and protect the laws of Ghana. To dedicate himself to the well-being of Ghana. He must wage an unrelenting war on Galamsey. Okay. And that unrelenting war will never be won if he does not deal with the NDC members, the senior NDC members engaged in this devilish activity. If he does not do that, then I can assure all and sundry that by next year, the kind of pressure we give Nana-Addo, the call that he steps down, that same call will be made on him.
Okay, all right. Let me bring in Professor Bodia. But Prof, the Church of Pentecost has been speaking about this to the effect that they say now there can't be baptism in some of these areas where Galamsey has, taken over and has destroyed river bodies. So I want you to look at from the church's point of view, looking at the impact of Galamsey and what needs to be done now.
Yes, please, good morning, and good morning to my colleague as well. I've enjoyed this submission.
So all this various submission is only to the you have enjoyed.
What I've enjoyed this submission, the call on the president to ensure that we have, if we continue with the fight on Galamsey. Previous administration could have done better with the fight on Galamsey. The former administration. Several attempts were made, but not successful on that fight. Today, because the administration or the former president could not deal with that situation, he was given a boot. Left the administration. And I can say the horse has bolted. So we can now focus on this current regime. Looking at the previous, before assuming office, manifesto. If you go back and check the manifesto of this administration, I think number 19 of economic, and I'm sure the environmental issues, he said, I'll ban all illegal mining activities within, I think, 100 days, if you remember. Now, he assumes office. It will be suicidal for anybody to say they have not seen any attempt of this administration in the fight against Galamsey. And let me put this on record, that when the president assumed office in January 7th, 2025, we targeted the repealing of that law, the LI 2462. Then we have 3 for Life Red Zone Forest Reserve, with 26 arrested and some arrests made in the first 5 months, and 1,300 arrests, Tandem River pilot land reviewed. So, Brace, just to give you an account, because it will be unethical to say that we have not seen any attempt from this administration. But it's a difference between effort and results. Mm. You can do all the things you want to do. It translates into what? What I want to see is there's a clean water that I can drink from, as it used to be. Is that what we are seeing? So we see Ghana's natural resources systematically under siege. And the commitment or the effort of this administration, for me, we have not been aggressive enough on the fight against Galamsey. Mm. That is the result. That's all that we are talking about. On Monday, we organized a press conference at the Accra International Conference Center by the Institute of IRPP. We gave the scale of destruction, our forest, our natural resources. If you consider that about 50 to 70 of our water bodies contaminated. 50, that's a report. Between 60 to 70 of our water bodies contaminated. Mm. If you check in terms of revenue that we are losing, it's about 2.5. Now, Ghana Water Company had come out to declare that they are finding it difficult to treat the water that we drink. The president himself tells us that his own people, some party affiliates, some traditional rulers are found in this. So if a president makes such a statement, it tells you the fight is beyond him. We also critique or we criticize the silence of the CSOs, the voice of conscience, who previously had held the neck of the other administration to declare the state of emergency. I didn't support the state of emergency declaration at that time. And in terms of principle, I still stand by the same idea.
You don't want the state
for now.
of emergency. But the Pediatric Society says we need it to safeguard the population.
I'm coming back to that. But the point is that what are other mechanisms, what are other solutions that we have to solve this problem? With declaration of that state, will it give the result that we are talking about? But for me, my issue is that those who were championing such the cause, the voice of conscience, why the definite silence of all these individuals? That was our concern as an institute. We don't hear them again. Where are they?
But now the Church of Pentecost is speaking, for example.
But you just said me.
I'll come back to that. Where are they? We did it. For a very long time, we had not heard all these individuals. And I was on one of your radio stations that said that sometimes when the mouth is full, you don't talk. Is that what is happening? And interesting, someone also told me that if you're angry, you roar. You become angry, you talk more. So we don't know that. Goodness, can you find it sometimes? But the point is that we should have a better way of solving this. And we must be seen to be active and deliberate in fighting this menace. Other than that, and now we've had the chairman of the Church of Pentecost with the publication yesterday. When I read, I was happy. And for me, he has shown the way. We are calling on the rest of our leaders, the Assemblies of God, the Apostolic, the Imams, the rest, to follow suit. Because now it's not about economic value or GDP or the revenue, the impact of Galamsey on revenue. That's not. It's about the cost of human lives. So if illegal activity could disrupt baptism, then it has gotten to the core of the community. If you cannot use good water to baptize people, then there's a problem. It has gone to the core. And that's why all of us, we are concerned. That it's not a matter of being on a platform and tell everybody that I want to fight. Are you not surprised, Praise, if a president tells you, I know some people who are involved in this. How many of us question our president? Please, can you name those people?
I didn't know.
I was expecting all the CEOs and the rest to have asked him. Name them. And tell us the action you've taken about this. Because there's one thing telling us you know them and go back to sleep. But if you don't take action, what happens? So we have an issue. If you don't understand what is happening, bro, go to Kolebu. We always must appreciate our doctors who are working over there. The cases that they are recording every day, you'll be shocked. And sometimes when you visit Kolebu, you have a different mentality. When you come back to town, you have a different... That's what is happening. Because if you are to bring all our political leaders to go to Kolebu to see what is happening, I'm sure the fight will have a solution to this problem.
I'm grateful. Let's move to the other. I'll start with you there because your institute has done some work on it. The payroll fraud, something I've seen you publish some report out there.
Yeah.
I mean, how do we curtail these things? Because it's like a recurring something. How do we curtail it?
If you don't know the cause of anything, it's difficult to provide solution to that. this report you've talked about, the Institute, we've done a comprehensive report on that, and we'll be having a press very soon on this whole thing. It cuts across different regimes. It started from January 2023 all the way to 2025 in June. The Auditor General sends about 209 staff to conduct this simple audit. And it's a nationwide payroll audit. And I was of the view that they could have done year by year, and that's what I think they do all the time. But this time around, they decided to do across different regimes, which for me, it gives a global picture of how we should tackle this whole matter. It's not the first time, just as we said. It's been happening all the time, the irregularities, amount that we pay to ghost people and all that. It's not the first time. But I'm concerned about the quantum, the amount of money that the country we are losing in terms of revenue. I read one article by the minister, I think the Bank of Ghana, the governor, that we have not been able to get the revenue that we needed, and therefore we have reduced our expenditure portion. But the point is that if you don't get more revenue, the wisest thing to do is to cut your expenditure. So I don't see anything wrong with it. But this is where we are having issues with. Total irregularities within the same period, 2023 to 2025, 190 million. When we talk about total irregularities, we are talking about those acts intentionally or unintentionally will affect, funds, the usage of funds. That's all that we are looking at. So we are talking about errors, we are talking about fraud issue parts. The total gives you the figure we are talking about. And, Grace, let me just give you a figure here that are chancellor. Payroll irregularities. Payment of unearned salaries to separated or discontinued staff is about 130 million Ghana cedi, which is about 68% of the total 190 figure I gave you. These are payments that from the period from 2023 to 2025, 130 million, 31 million cedis paid on earned salaries. What does that mean? Those people that we give money to, that we don't even know them, but they are still there. Every month, we pay them, we give them funds. Ineligible payment of allowance. Nurses posted to private hospitals. Nurses who have been posted to private hospitals, but they seem being paid. A quantum of about 7.9 million paid to them, same period. Wrong placement on salary scales, 7.3. Then we have unapproved study leave with pay. I hope you understand this cool things. Unapproved. If I want to go on study leave, and it needs to be approved. But these individuals, unapproved study leave with pay. Then we have non-existing schools, ghost schools. A team of about 2.6 million paid. Non-existing schools, ghost schools. Now, the issue is that if you look at all these numbers, it gives you an idea. What do we do as a country when we are talking about revenue leakages? Now, backdated assumption of duty, 1.9. Resignation without prior notice, 800 million.
It what?
No, 800,000. 800,000.
So they resign without prior notice.
Yes.
And they are still paid?
They've been paid.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, when you get auditors' reports and you want to read, sometimes it's bulky and therefore difficult to even to read. So we brush it off often. We'll talk about it a few days and we are gone. But when you take your time to go into the document itself, line by line, you have your heart in your mouth. You'll be surprised to see how much as a country we are losing. Staff with double staff identification numbers. Staff with double staff identification numbers. That's to be paid. So there.
So if they have double staff numbers, I mean they're being paid double.
That's what it means. And these are documents that we didn't produce the document from the Auditor General's report. And it's conducted between 20. So we are not talking about which government. No, that's not the discussions here. Irregular suspend account refund, that one. Then payment of double salary, 199,000. In total, you're looking at 190 million.
For the irregularities?
Yes, covered. And we sit unconcerned. And you ask a good question. What can we do to avert all this? Sometimes when we come and questions are thrown to us, and we are asked to provide solutions, the unfortunate part is that those who mind our country, who are giving resources, they are not asked the same question to provide solutions. We are the ones who are to give solutions, but that is fine. You allow them to go free. The point is that when we forget, do they even listen? Please, you're right to ask that question. Do they even listen? You have a system. How do you pay salaries? And yesterday, the controller, I think there was a press conference on the portal reacting to some of these issues. People have been given chance to talk. But if you hear the feedback from those who were caught in this act, read from the book. And it's surprised the responses given based on these irregularities. How do you solve this?
Which one amounts to the 180 million? A senior of mine wants some clarification. You mentioned 108 million.
180 million.
108 million. Which irregularity is that one?
I don't know which one they're talking about because I have a figure of the 15 million happens to be that of on self-bond term.
Okay. That's 15 million.
Yeah, I can go through the numbers.
And the total
is 190 million.
Okay.
Not 800 million.
No, that one we can talk about that. Because it was 130 something million then. So, yeah, I'm talking about irregularity. We'll come to that part. We are talking about the irregularities found in the auditor's report.
Okay.
Yes.
When it comes to payment of salary.
Yeah, payrolls.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the payroll irregularity there. Lawyer. My bet is about how we can block all these loopholes. Because these are monies that could be channeled into, for example, completing Agenda 111 in Bukro for my people to go for healthcare.
You see, about a month ago, we came here and we discussed the fundamental failure of Ghana to meet the basic requirements, the WHO basic requirements about emergency beds. Whereas the standard was five beds per 1,000 population. Ghana was
emergency.
Beds. We are doing about 0.5, and we said that whereas Ghana needed almost about 269,000 emergency beds, we had just about less than
200 or so.
Yeah, some ridiculous figure. Okay, we have an economy that cannot create jobs. Economy won't create jobs because government does not use its fiscal policy to aid small and medium scale enterprises. We have an economy where our children can't get good schools to go to. We still have the issue of schools under trees. Not so. Tuesday I drove from in fact, over the weekend, last weekend, I went to Galamsey and came back. And the deplorable state of our roads. You understand? Right now, we have an energy crisis because beyond the fact that we are unable to deal with the financial issues there's a need for government to spend money to change our transformers. We have a country where the fundamental promises of democracy has not been met. And yet, an audit can tell us that between the period of January 2023 to June 2025, we lost almost over 800 million Ghana cedis. 800 million Ghana cedis through an issue that I refuse to call an irregularity. This is not an irregularity.
The 800 million are total irregularities for the year.
It's not an irregularity.
No, I mean, how they captured it.
You asked my opinion, and I'm saying that I don't want to. I don't want to hear that word. You see, when we hear that word.
Okay. So take my irregularity away. For instance, 190. I just want a difference between them.
Stealing, systematic stealing. Systematic stealing is happening. And it's happened for a very long time. It happened when we had a president who rightly told us that one of his fundamental jobs was to protect the public purse. Even though he said it's not just his duty, it's the duty of all presidents, the duty of anybody we've put in a position of leadership to protect the public purse. And yet, 800 million, a country that is poor because of stealing. What should we do? We need to start prosecuting. You see, we run a system where there's no consequences for actions. People know that when I steal, I'll get away with it.
And that's why they steal.
Yeah, that's what that's the funda. But the funda. You see, we don't need to. You can talk technical. You see the Galamsey issue. All the issues that we are facing is because there's a fundamental lack of commitment to enforce the laws of Ghana. That's all. A fundamental lack of commitment to enforce. You see, when you were saying about over 60,000 people were paid who they do not know. And I find that strange because for a country with people who are inherently scared of ghosts. You see, let's say this night, go somewhere, say, hey, somebody, you see, people run away. And yet we love to create ghosts so that we will steal money. For a country filled with people who are scared, we are scared of ghosts. When you were a young man, were you not scared of ghosts? They told you stories of ghosts. We are scared of ghosts. And yet, we don't mind creating ghosts to steal money. Yes, we create ghosts, we create something to steal money. I started hearing of ghost names for over 20 years now. Every year we hear ghost names. The National Service case, does that not also include the creation of ghosts to steal money? We are a joke. I'm saying that, listen, we have a system where people want power. They go around campaign for power. They beg the people of Ghana for power. And what do we do with the power? When we get the power, we use the power to create ghosts so that we steal from the people we are supposed to protect. So when you talk about this issue, when we are handling this issue, the discussion should not be treated as a political discussion. This discussion is one that is more patriotic. How long are we going to sit down, you understand, and allow people who ought to be in a position of stewardship? Because when you have political power, really you are a steward. You are a steward not just of today, but you are a steward also of tomorrow. And what do we do with that power? What do we do with that privilege? That privilege to serve. What do we do with it? We create ghosts to steal. And then you see, to help us run away from the problem, then we deliberately give the stealing the name irregularity. Who can you convince that where we have a situation where there are over 51,000 names on a payroll that we cannot account for, and you say this is an irregularity? Are we serious? Professor, are we serious? 51,000 names. 51,000 names. Where there are over 6,000 people who are paid, and yet they cannot be found. And we term this an irregularity. Are we serious? And we will say it is an irregularity, and they will go scot-free. And do you know the consequence of that?
How do you call it?
Stealing. It must be treated as stealing.
And the network is what?
The network, over 800 million is gone.
I'm talking about the Appiah-Danquah.
I don't know, but he's stealing. You see, when we treat it as stealing, you see, when you treat it as irregularity, and they go to that parliamentary, whatever it is, that joke. You see, so it's like, let's do something to represent something. And they go and say, Mr. Edison, you did this, and the transpositioner, and we go and say, use this English, and they go scot-free. You're encouraging the next young man, sitting there watching this sham of a system. Say that, listen, I want to get there. I want to get there and be part of this system that will create ghosts. To what end? So I can steal 800 million. Is that how we build a country? What are we building? Are we building a country? And yet, in this country, do a mistake and be knocked, just a scratch, you would die. You die, and they'll tell that we don't have enough beds. And how much is a bed? Was that 800 million stolen from the system? Can comfortably fund 2 banks. Can comfortably fund 2 banks. You understand? Because I'm saying that we have an economy, one that cannot create jobs. My professor here keeps on talking about revenue. And I keep on saying that revenues are not like leaves on a tree. That serious countries deliberately create systems that will engender the creation of those revenues. You understand? And those revenues, you see, it's like energy. You see, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It's converted from one form into another. It's the same as money. Money is created. It's neither created nor destroyed. The small money you have, you can use the money then to turn around and create wealth. Because imagine 800. So we can do a simple calculation. And give somebody like 100,000. Yes, I was talking to a very sharp businessman. Give somebody a very sharp businessman 100,000 Ghana cedis. Let the person create a system that has, let's say, a compound interest of just 5%, and multiply that effect over a period of 3 years. Prof, you had the microfinance company some time ago. You're into the business of lending, so at least you can do the mathematics. You've got some people don't understand how the intermediary system creates wealth. Just do that calculation: 100,000 times 5 over 100 every month, compounded. You see, you create wealth at 800. And you see, and sadly, do you know what you do with that money? Slave queen funding, threesomes, fancy cars, useless ventures. And you see, and at the end of the day, we are weakening this country. And you see, we are weakening because of a fundamental lack of desire, lack of commitment to enforce this, to jail people for this. I'm saying, immediately you use the word irregularity. Irregularity. Immediately we continue to term it irregularity. Then we cannot see the seriousness of the evil, the theft that has been done in a country, and they go scot-free. See, and that attitude can be seen in issues like oral. In the oral and the core, see, people are losing faith in the system. People are losing faith in the system. Politicians come to power after 2-3 years. We start accusing them of having stolen monies. And then when the party that was the position I accused people of having. So when it comes to power, they make noise 1 year, 2 year, pretend that some serious prosecutions are going on, and after 2-3 years, it dies down. Nothing happens. In fact, back to the Galamsey case. There was called. Yeah, I think yesterday I've seen a video where the Free Zones Board boss was warning the Pentecost pastor, who said that people can't do
the baptism.
Yeah, that he should
warning him.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Hey, one of the chairman of the Pentecost church.
I'm telling you. I just saw the video. When I was sitting, I just saw the video. But you see, the point I'm trying to make is, our leaders forget that when we put them into power, really, they are stewards. It's not your best. You are a steward. What does it mean? If you say you are a steward, you are being placed in a position where you take care of something, ideally to grow it for the benefit of who? The people. But when they get the power, they think it's their best right. They think that they are there for their self-benefit. You get a picture. And unfortunately, because all of them are part of this system, they've sat down 32 years as a democracy. And every year we do public accounts committee. Every year we record these stealings, irregularities, and people go scot-free. So you're asking me, I think the first step in reversing this activity that hurts the very foundation, heart of our democracy. A democracy, a constitution who has as one of its fundamental principles and tenets the principle of probity and accountability. When, insofar as we continue to term these stealings as irregularities, and so far the people who perpetrate this continue to walk free, then we are taking a shot at the heart of this our democracy. And unless and until we deal with it, unless and until we see real accountability, unless and until we see real consequence for these stealings, then we run a risk of turning this our democracy into a kakistocracy.
Okay.
Because the young men of this country will sit there and watch this vile system, this negative system, and say that I want to be there. I want to be an MP. I want to be a minister. Not because I want to be a steward, but because I want to be part of this system that claims that they fear ghosts, but do not mind creating ghosts for the purpose of stealing from the country.
And per letter I've cited, it says, quote, "It is vital to look beyond the individual corrections and focus on the staggering scale of the audit findings, which identify over 800 million cedis in unearned salaries across various ministries and departments." Hey, unearned salaries alone. Okay.
This
remains a matter of...
Don't call it irregularity, I beg you.
This remains a matter of grave national concern. The fourth estate will not be deterred by legal posturing, confident that the courts will vindicate its actions as squarely within the law. Our client remains committed to its constitutional mandate and to strengthening Ghana's accountability architecture, and will continue to pursue stories that safeguard the public purse, guided by the principles of ethics, professionalism, and the law. And I've seen this on the website of Media Foundation for West Africa. It's coming from their lawyers, Partners at Law. Interesting. Quite an interesting thing. 800 million. You say we should say unearned salaries. But
stolen money is irregularity.
Let's go to court.
You see,
let's go to court.
Listen. So you go to court not to say that something is not stolen. No. You go to court to say that, because you know how you are a fat gentleman. That let's say Kofi, whatever it is, has stolen the money. Here, you understand?
Yeah.
But as for the stealing there, when somebody is taking your property, you understand? Your property, your movable property, without your consent, what is it? Stealing. So, what has happened is stealing. Now, what we go to court for is to prove that A, B, C, D are the ones who stole. But as for the stealing there, it has happened. It has happened. So, we should not call it an irregularity. Okay. We should not use language to take anything away from the negative, from the reality of what is happening, which is stealing.
He's a lawyer here.
Once the lawyer speaks, we are speaking.
Exactly. Stealing. The lawyer has spoken. But briefly, we need to move on to our next
interestingly, the number we are talking about, translate that into staff.
Into what?
6 staff.
Yeah.
6,270 active staff unaccounted for. Go by ministry, the whole thing. What we did, Ministry of Education, 31 million. Ministry of Education alone.
31.
This will provoke you. Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, 33 million. Judicial Service, 5.9 million. Minister of Justice and Attorney General, 1 million.
Even there.
Minister of Interior. Ministry of Interior, 1.2.
Interior also, police.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, 3.8. Then numbers. What do we do?
Okay, all right.
We do payroll audit all the time. In fact, if the government want to pay me every month, you know what they do? They will send a confirmation to my department, and then I have to confirm that those people exist.
Yeah.
Then it gets to controller before the payment. All this, they are still recording this.
Yeah, that's why it's not irregularity, because they have control system. Because they have internal control system.
Yeah, in the university it's different. When I left UCC in 2015, the day I left, I never received a dime.
So where from this one? Even small companies know that one of the ways in mitigating risks is having controls. It's basic. So I did tell her that in the controller and whatever it is, they don't have control system. So there's no validation. No, they're out there. But I'm saying it's a deliberate system to steal.
Okay, all right.
A deliberate system to steal. Every year happens.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move on to the next topic. And the next topic too has some legal. Let's see. It says Ghana directing Newmont, Anglo-Gold, Zijin should shift mining operations to local firms by December, sources say. And yesterday we dealt much on this on Newsnight. We heard from the Chamber of Mine. They say that it's even a discussion they've started having already to see how some of the contracts in the mining space can be given to entirely local people. But it looks like now government wants, the mining operations to be handled by locals. According to Reuters, it says Ghana's mining regulator has given international companies Newmont, Anglo-Gold, Ashanti, and Chinese-owned Zijin until December 2026 to shift mining operations over to local contractors or face sanctions, according to 5 sources with direct knowledge of the matter and document. Newmont and Zijin currently operate the mines with their own staff. Anglo-Gold Ashanti has a joint venture contractor mining at a smaller Iduaprem gold mine, and the company told Reuters on Thursday in response to questions. Many firms outsource mining operations before Ghana. Africa's top gold producer revised local ownership rules in January 2025, requiring miners to switch to contract mining. Let me start with you, lawyer. I mean, there's a local content law we want to probably, give meaning to. Is that how to go about it? Is there any harm in the way we want to go about it anyway?
Oh, we have a law. How long have we had a law? We've had a law for a long time, since I think for a very long time.
Okay.
So why are we having this discussion?
Okay.
It boils down to everything we've been saying. A lack of commitment to enforce the laws. You see, let's stop pretending. Because the conversation about local content in Ghana's mining sector has become one of the most dishonest conversations in our national life. We have the laws, not so. We have the regulations. We have the policies. But what we do not have is real Ghanaian control over Ghanaian resources. And that's the issue. Yeah, the problem in our mining sector is because Ghanaians do not have control over our system. And that's why the Daman discussion, when Ibrahim Ama purposely took over the Daman discussion, I felt that it was an issue that we ought to have celebrated. You understand? We ought to have celebrated because you will cocoa or memo or say, you will gold or memo or say, you will lithium or memo or say, how much of those resources do we control? You see, Koyo, I know you are saying that we have the Local Content Act. And we probably say that Ghana has one of the best local content regimes in Africa. Now the question is, if that law is so strong, or if the implementation of that law is so robust, if we are enforcing that law like we ought to do, Because remember, and I keep on pointing to the oath that is taken. We take an oath, as in when the president becomes president and the MPs, the ministers, they all take an oath that essentially says that we are going to be faithful to Ghana.
Yeah.
It means that you are going to be faithful to the agenda of Ghana. You are going to be faithful to the purpose of Ghana. You get. And very central to the agenda of Ghana is to create an environment, to create an ecosystem where all Ghanaians can have the best chance of fulfilling all their ambitions, central to which is their economic ambitions. Very central. Now, if that's the case, if our politicians are being faithful to their mandate, if they are being faithful to the oath they took, which also includes an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the laws of this country. Mm-hmm. So if that's the case, Kojo, then why are we Ghanaians so weak in the ownership? Why are we Ghanaians so weak in terms of the control? Why are we Ghanaians so weak in terms of the value capture of our mineral resources? Because it is impossible to have a powerful law and have a powerless people at the same time. The powerless people in terms of the exploitation and critically the control of our mining sector. Something certainly is not adding up.
Okay, let me
see, something, okay.
If you look at Section 5 of the Minerals and Mining Local Content and Local Participation Regulations 2020, Section 5.2a says, a holder of a mining lease shall submit for approval a program for recruitment and training of Ghanaians, which shall include A, details of ongoing and planned recruitment and training of Ghanaians to replace expatriates.
Is it a law?
Yes.
That is it?
Yes. B, the percentage of expatriate staff relative to the total number of senior staff to be maintained by a holder of a mining lease, which is as follows. 1, for the first 3 years from the commencement of mining operations, the percentage shall not exceed 10%.
Is that your what?
Of expatriate.
Working there?
Yes.
Okay.
So let me take it again. You are a lawyer, so you can help us. It says, a holder of a mining lease shall submit for approval a program for recruitment and training of Ghanaians, which shall include details of ongoing and planned recruitment and training of Ghanaians to replace expatriate.
Listen, that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep on saying that. See, so they're going to do this and they want to... who controls our mining sector? That's the key issue. And what steps are is government deliberately taking to ensure that, unfortunately, you stayed in the mining. I did my service in Anglo-Gold Ashanti, and I did some business with Ghana Manganese. Who take the billion-dollar decisions in those companies? Okay. What's the essence in giving Ghanaians positions when they don't have real authority?
Yeah.
Where they don't have control? Okay. You understand? That's why I'm saying that the problem, if you have laws, or if you're unable to enforce laws, to the extent that it cuts Ghanaians out in terms of proper control over our mineral resources, then you're afraid that then
I'm told our time is up. Let me give the next 2 minutes to you, Prof.
Yeah. I have not chanced on this law before. I mean, it's my first time hearing this. So what is the issue here? To give
so government is saying
that content.
No, government is saying that it's enforceable. Government is essentially saying that going forward, the big mining companies should use locals in their
operations
activities, which is a good call.
Yeah,
you understand. But the point is that it's not about we talking. We already have a law that has made these, and over the years they failed to implement to the letter not just the law but the purpose of the law. And the purpose ought to be to grant control over the exploitation and utilization of, well, that's the only way Ghanaians.
And the law says that those who are not doing it should be paying some fines to the Minerals Commission. 1 year. Are they doing it?
Whatever we are doing in our country, we should focus our individuals who are here. They should be the beneficiary all the time. I would love to have a ratio of 90 to 10 when we are talking about structures of organizations.
Okay.
The companies might be given the opportunity to recruit or to get more local people to participate. But the scale and how we do it, or we are going to do it, is my issue.
Okay.
Let's focus on what is happening in South Africa. I don't want this thing to happen.
No, but this is the law. And before you knew that there's a law.
But I'm saying that the enforcement part should not mimic what is happening.
Oh, no.
And my challenge is, my issue is that I will support any Ghanaian, any individual who is a Ghanaian, to be supported in terms of business.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Let's wrap it all up here on this show. But just to conclude with this, and today is the birthday of a friend of mine, Macross, did I say Manfred Arthur in Biaho. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday to you, Manfred. So Manfred Arthur in Biaho, today is your birthday. Please have a wonderful birthday. This one says, just briefly, what happened to the promise made by President Mahama to use AI in the fight against Galamsey? Is the Blue Water Guard still in existence? How about arresting the Galamsey kingpins? Who have they arrested so far? President Mahama admitted recently that his own party people are involved in Galamsey. Why is he not arresting them? Ghanaians are watching closely. Let's give some time. Master Planner Junior Policy Analyst in Kintampo. We end it here. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more here on the AM Show. All right, let me say good morning to you once again and welcome to the show. It's time for us to talk about ABE, right? Now, in talking about ABE, this will be so many times we've spoken about it because they're doing some incredible work here. Now, Ghana is hosting 2 distinguished global leaders from the Association of Business Executives, ABE, on a strategic working visit. Melanie Robinson, Managing Director of ABE Global Limited, and Carissa Carrington-Nunez is Director for Africa, Caribbean, and Americas in the country to engage with student, alumni, and institutional partners alongside Barata Akefi, CEO of Crux Training Institute, a leading ABE accredited center in Ghana. This special interview will spotlight ABE's globally recognized skills-focused qualifications and their growing impact in Ghana. This is what we're looking at, and I've been joined, as I mentioned earlier, Melanie Robinson, who is the Managing Director of ABE Global Limited, is here. Melanie, good morning to you. Good morning. Trust you good?
Yeah, good.
Hope Ghana is treating you well.
Very well, yeah. It's a lovely country, and I'm happy to be here.
Is this your first time?
It's my first time, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You have to come back.
I will do, because they're working me very hard. I haven't had any time for fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, but take your time, Let the woman enjoy our hospitality the more. But what food have you taken so far? What Ghanaian food have you tasted?
Oh, what did we have yesterday?
Jollof rice.
Jollof rice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From the street. We were told we had to have the traditional, original version.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You have to try fufu as well before you go.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also have Carissa Carrington-Nunez. She is Director for Africa, Caribbean, and Americas. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
First time in Ghana?
No, I've been here multiple times.
Oh, you look like a Ghanaian, actually.
They keep telling me I look like some Ashanti girl or something. But in the Caribbean, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago.
Oh, okay.
So we don't really have a lot of that. We don't even speak any mother tongues. We only speak English. Yeah. So, but I think Ghana is very close to home for us.
Yeah.
Even back in the day from the slave trade, they said the ships departed from here.
So I was going to say that actually you could probably have your ancestors coming from here.
Exactly, and this is why I feel so at home at Ghana. Thank you.
Welcome, yeah. And then the man, Barata Akefi, CEO of Crux Training. Good morning to you, sir.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Okay, all right. Now, let me start with you, Melanie, on this one. What makes ABE qualifications uniquely relevant in today's job market? Barata has been saying a lot, but you're here. Let me hear it from you.
Yeah. So the thing for the young people today, we don't want them just to get jobs. We want them to build careers. And the ABE qualification is designed with employability at the core of it. So unlike just being a pure theoretical program, we focus on practical skills and real-world problems. So things like critical thinking, leadership, entrepreneurship, and problem solving. So our curriculum is developed with input from the industry to ensure that the graduates that we're producing are truly suited to those jobs, and that the market in Ghana, where young people are seeking employment and entrepreneurial opportunities, this is really especially impactful.
And over the years you've been rolling this, have you been measuring the sort of impact your training is having on Ghanaians here?
It's always difficult to measure impact, but we know that we have graduates that are moving into careers in banking, in finance, into the IT sector. So yes, that we can see that our graduates really are adding to the Ghanaian economy.
Okay. Carissa, over the years that I've been speaking with Barata, I realized that AB enrollment in Ghana is growing. I don't know what's accounting for it. If you can help us understand what's accounting for that and what Cracks Training Institute, for example, is doing in that regard.
ABE offers practical transferable skills as well as a differentiated pathway. A lot of Ghanaians, when you look at the statistics for the graduates from secondary school, the numbers of them who have not made the grade to get into traditional universities, it is very high. And historically, many of those students would not have had an opportunity to further their education. ABE offers an accessible route. It doesn't depend solely on their secondary school grades. It allows them transferability to higher education. It is flexible and caters to the working students as well, who would have been in the job market, doesn't have a qualification. And as a result, many people are now flocking to ABE. That, as well as we are one of the only awarding organization in country, or one of the few in country, that are recognized by GTEC in Ghana. We have multiple center partners here, so our reach is expansive. And we have a local office on the ground. You asked Melanie about impact. I think the impact is, you know, in traditional saying, we say the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Isaac Iboa, Dr. Isaac Iboa, that our local country manager here is an ABE graduate. He used the ABE qualification to move all the way through multiple degrees, including his law degree, his PhD, and through the Ghanaian system here at home using ABE. So that is one of many examples that we have in country regarding the ABE program, and that's why it's becoming more and more popular here in Ghana.
Okay. Interesting. Melanie, let me come back to you, because last time I was speaking to Barata, and you were saying that your level 6 is equivalent to a university degree. I was like, whoa, what's that? So as Carissa has been saying, so I could just move from the street, for example, in code, go through your levels, get to level 6, and I become what? My certificate is equivalent to a university graduate. So educators on your level, your structure, I mean, it's quite an interesting one I would want to really understand.
It is, and it is quite confusing, as you say. But ABE is perfectly suited for people that maybe haven't finished their high school education, that haven't taken that traditional academic route. So our level 3 serves as a foundation for students in that situation to give them that foundation knowledge. We then move on to level 4, which is the core business knowledge and skills equivalent to that first year of university. But as you say, level 6, that is the equivalent of a bachelor's degree. So it will take you anywhere that a bachelor's degree will. Also, if you've come to level 5, you can actually transfer into some degree routes directly into the third year of that degree. So you still get a bachelor's degree, but you don't have to do the full 3 years. Makes it a very cost-effective way of getting into higher education. The other thing as well is the ABE qualification is recognised internationally. So as you know, I've come over from the UK. We're a UK-based organisation, and we're Ofqual regulated in the UK, which means, as I say, that the qualification is recognised and it's transferable. So if you wanted to go for a job in the Americas, in Asia, in Europe, you can use your ABE qualification to get you there. Or if you wanted to continue into further education in one of those countries, then yes, again, the level 6 is recognised.
It's enticing, really. As I sit here and I listen to you, I'm like, Charlie, I have to take a course with ABE just to get it done, you know.
So you can start your education here in Ghana, but it can take you anywhere.
Yeah. After they are winning me over, I have to kind of do a course with, you know. But let me bring you in anyway. From a local perspective, how's Crash Training Institute helping students maximize opportunities offered by AB?
Yes, so Madam Carrington mentioned that we have lots of centers in Ghana, and Crash Training is one of those centers we have in Ghana. And for us, the advantage, as Madam Melanie has said, is the fact that we see value in the certification. So regardless of where you are on your educational journey, whether you are in the middle, you want to get a degree, whether you are starting, whatever the issue is. For example, the level 4 qualification is perfect. You started level 4 and you are able to transition into level 200 of a traditional university, regardless of whatever happened in your secondary school, or once you have the level 4 qualification, you can transition into the university at level 200. So I see the pathways and the route as being very flexible, very good, and my patrons and my students also see that value and that flexibility. You don't have to stop work to go to school. You will be in school and you can be able to pursue higher education in terms of the level 6, which can then lead you to further and do a master's. And once you have a level 6, any university in Ghana, any recognized university in Ghana, you can apply to do a master's degree. So for us on the local level, it's a win-win for us. Local relevance, international certification, and that is the win for us, yes.
So I can live in, say, Agyeman-Rawlings and still school with you without necessarily having to come to Accra?
Yes, you can.
Online?
You can. We have online sessions in there. We look at partner centers where you are, that you can also do it. So there is that flexibility in there, yes.
All right. We're just about wrapping up. Carissa, I'll come to you. So if someone is watching us now and is motivated like I am, what should a person do?
I think your next step is to reach out to Crux Training Institute or visit our local office here in Ghana. I know we are wrapping up. I really want to take an opportunity to congratulate our managing director. Okay. She is the first female managing director at ABE Global. Oh, okay. First to spend 1 month on the African continent, understanding the nuances and just demonstrating to, I would say, to the Ghanaian population, the commitment of ABE, the dedication of ABE in empowering its citizens, and the quality that is backed by a globally recognized qualification with parity of esteem, not-for-profit, cost-effective, and very recognized and transportable. So well done to Team ABE, well done to our Managing Director, and get in touch with Crux Learning Institute, and welcome to ABE.
Congrats to you, you know, for this. But anytime I listen to Carissa, I want to speak Patois.
And I won't understand. I won't. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. No.
But it's so familiar, you know, it's so close to the Patois language. I wanted to say Wagwan to you.
Well, actually, that I can speak. I can say, yeah, Wagwan.
Well, Wagwan.
Yeah. I could actually rap in that. Like our local dialects will be like, yeah, me there, me happy for be here, you know, Caribbean vibes kind of thing. So yeah.
Me there is like I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here, and I'm happy to be here.
And in our local language, you say me waha, right? Yeah. You guys, you came from us for real.
We came from you.
Me waha, that you did me there.
No wahala, no wahala.
Okay, all right. Yeah. So Melanie, just before we wrap up, what will be your concluding remarks to our viewers out there?
Yeah, just contact Crux, get in touch, do the ABE qualification. It really will take you anywhere.
Right.
Yeah, so I want to leave a number so that those who are interested can call or WhatsApp us. Okay. So the numbers to call is 055 222 2217. That's 055 222 2217. And we'll give you all the details so you can start your ABE journey. Thank you very much.
All right. Barata Akefe, CEO of Crux Training Institute, a leading ABE accredited center in Ghana. Earlier, you heard from, now we know, the first female managing director of ABE Global Limited, Melanie Robinson. Thank you for passing through. And to our Ashanti sister in the Caribbean, Carissa Carrington Nunes, Director for Africa, Caribbean and Americas, ABE Global. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you.
of malfunctioning traffic lights at the Appiah-Danquah highway is not new. For motorists and pedestrians along this stretch, a faulty traffic light has become more than an inconvenience. Residents say it has become a death trap. The traffic lights have been off for years despite demonstrations and repeated appeals to authorities. Each time they are repaired, residents say the relief is temporary. Soon after, the lights go off again, and when they do, crashes return. This stretch of road has witnessed the loss of many lives. Hit-and-run incidents have become common here. One of those grieving is Kwekwa Samoa. He lost his only son in a crash on the Appiah-Danquah stretch. He believes negligence on the road cost his son's life.
10th September, day Wednesday, anopa. To be sorry, na me could be in the shop. And then I'm for business. I'm saying, me new prince away. I'm so will be about that one. Sorry, because once what I'm in next room. And I'm saying, they are 7 or so over. To a cancer or banner. Bear 10 minutes time. Now or my. Teaching me follow up with some say, I will be a princess. What's over, but in Master Mukuna, BBS, and that's why you be now. But I'm going to down and know the mono. Not on Nahosa time. Teaching over Kachum say, almost any police station. I could confirm more assembly. Tina, you know, my bin Miami. Bassa. It's your number catcher, me say, almost any police station. Almost accident based for traffic light. And so I stay prince or come. Now, no dear, we're free, but a motor rider, no dear. Almost our ration at the local hospital. To account actually, a new 10 minutes, and see I didn't free any police station by say accident to be a seer, no, or much less of a power. To more the meeting came a call seeing her. The clear more call police hospital. No, almost catch them playing say their friendly prince and they were film, but rather no dear or admission. Tiampa Medinachi and you call much or quite just a year no buy and just a back prince in one. Fadi a hame pa na said the way how I could do beyond only be a baby because Makuhus and Nipano at the end a sea accident in a sea. Makuhun the body or mortuary. Today I can be you. Maybe a cabium say Mebano with him. Because I'm higher, or my media, a higher power.
He's now pleading with authorities to fix the traffic lights before another family suffers the same loss.
So traffic light, you know, it started I say, you know, I check. So many years in it is always to cross a kind of grandpa. Can't be in who a big amount said cross. This is Ujinawa Kumtamwa. Being traffic light, a bed block war. La Paz, Malam Road also, and sign a moiti mad Hama waiting across. And the other said, and say, a traffic light no man, and the passe Nipabena home for so. Never brass any pechem, what me trim. Never brass a car so and so and so at Miako. Now, Sababa said, this one and yeg, my dear. I just say, sees one of us will be in so. Miamanu, ya, Hassi, Nipa a cool woman, more than 20. The Martini, the Dimini, bear 20. Into yesterday. Said yes, traffic light na shining sir. Na so empanimfo ehweso no. Obetima bo modern say anytime be obo say chima answer ehu ato chima no. Omo siesie because ni painting here traffic light na edisi ho. Nipa nkwa so ehu hia. Nti ade said no. Said ye na said yes say ohwe e ma traffic light no eye adwuma no. Onhwe e ma yen.
They run away. No light. Baby. Nina hit and run. A bombing wife, ya dopa.
Normally, traffic lights decide who moves and who stops. But here on the Appiah-Danquah stretch, that responsibility has been left to drivers and pedestrians themselves. For years, these lights have remained faulty, turning this stretch into a daily test of patience and safety.
Bernardo Kumo, popularly known as Uncle Ben, is also living with painful memories. He lost his wife in a crash on this same stretch one morning.
Sorry, by 7 o'clock, or Charlie Quino, and now said traffic light to me, and a power. car born. I don't know who are the sport.
He says residents are even willing to support authorities in any way possible if it will help restore the lights.
No boy, they are ready. Yeah, gun. I was in landlord association. We are ever prepared to support the government to renovate the traffic light for us. It's killing us. We don't need anything that the traffic will patch out. We are begging to patch out. Yes, on my acquire, nothing you watch a while. Yes, Raban. On tray, I deport there. How to install traffic light in my head. Where the Irene, this my wife. Kunia, ya, Irene. Oh, it's a patch out.
For Joyce Coker, the danger on this stretch of road has struck her family more than once. She recounts how her sister was knocked down by a vehicle while carrying her baby. The crash left her sister paralyzed. Joyce says although she later survived a similar accident on the same stretch, the memory of what happened to her sister still weighs heavily on her.
Nti na ewo man say me ti say car bobi yedimi car ba ya onu na car bo na o che car se ni nana no so chelechi eni ne ba ni na omu ko share over na se kura godo kwa na kasa pa no nka bi kura ba kokoma moja apam ni sa oh okwoche wo hospital pa ya ti ni kwa ka we e kire na sa ni ko du we Rich Hospital. Okoda was answer the train about. And to welcome me as if we confirm our banana or by Cassan, so not telling your papa. What's me about? And Miaka some also sad about me. Yamin Kuan, Kamin Swanka, a Berhaju. A Kwamuchan, dear, Miss Ray, a bicycle, Miss Relipi, only a mobile. A Drew say, Betraquemois, Mrika, one time Mrika the Cababo. All just not a 50 year, never did Mrika car, a bet him, a fine. But me abo fun kan ka afa me so nkwala amu fi school e ban so saa obo wan na ka abo wo madam for papa de ka abo no wawu madam for yi niku na aka sei onu so saa na petutu ka abo no ana wawu yes ra ban enu ti na etu aba no se ne be obesesie ahana maye nti enu ti na etu aba e ma no kamin kwampo aka overhead ko mo ye man kwala no overhead omo yama wo mo na ka mo ba no afa overhead no abesi su ahu ebi over cross kwa na abekọ no tam na abaka si oh ka ma me cross no tam awu beyi wuti so ya oh na moto bi afa nchan only light be wan no de abo.
Residents say crashes have become frighteningly common here. Alhaji, a resident, says the malfunctioning traffic lights have created another danger. Motor riders now take advantage of the chaos to snatch phones from pedestrians.
Oh bad. Phone. A song by difference. It's yeah ba. The lights look on Omojumono. A son says, traffic light here, Mahaha, Betty Metum. Ansan bibinia omkwati mabaha sesia no awosifo anase ahai epenifo abam mebre su cross kwan no mebre ni enye mebre sisi enye enti esese yetimi su cross ekwan no by force enti traffic no enye adwuma no yana yepese omoye inheri se ombetimi ere akross and say a balance. And that is so bad. You mean me as a express road. See him when you are trained a Jadua. And now traffic light every MPP and every Abedu and this force. Only a Nuna. But yes, I say, and your politics. On my fair, a round of it. On my fair, a brown, not on wire.
Assemblywoman for the Awoshi electoral area, Faustina Kesewa, says several attempts to get the lights repaired have yielded little success.
To be frank, Tamanami unit committee chairperson, sir, traffic light were semono, and so sorry, sir. and so any time be a problem we ho e man crofo ka bobo crofo me nim kra me somebody assembly me nim kra nipa be 4 me kasa madam fo a ye friend rasta traffic light yasia na car born e ba brantie man hwere ne nkwa enti light na assembly yas ade a ha tutropa awoshiman e higher papa because school ni bi wo kwan nachi ebi so was ebi cross school ebi so cross ba 2 weeks ni abrewa bi a okofa kama wo di kwa chiro e wo ha na ye friend ye kwa na car born wo kwan na no ndi to be frank light na assembly ade e higher nyese ye ntu anamo me ni unit committee for ya meeting ye tu anamo akọ is for almost on beba babe up to now yenti mpupu ye bia nti ye srega na mpanfo a omokasa ewom yen se mpanfo na edidi so eso me ye pani de batin mpanfo bi ewo ho a ewo so ye sre omokasa ye a omutimi kasa emasa adwuma no mutimi ye no ye sre omo se omonkeka omo ho yen kasa omo ye adwuma krono so Ghana so ye sre omonkai awosi mabunu omonkai awosi enkola cause enkola na omutwem ko school class eya ne ya na chi ebenya doctors wom ebenya ministers wom ebenya asofofo wom esre wom omomwan ene na yema disrebe.
During rush hours and at night, crossing this road becomes a dangerous gamble. Pedestrians often wait for long periods to cross. But when patience runs out, many take the risk. The result, sometimes, is tragedy. Data from the National Road Safety Authority shows road crashes in the Greater Accra region continue to rise. Residents believe malfunctioning traffic lights are part of the problem. For them, the solution seems simple. Fix the lights before another life is lost. Adobia Sorry for Joy News.
Amma sits outside her home, washing clothes and watching the sea just few meters away. The waves are close and they keep coming. Her house is less than 30 meters away from the shoreline, and each day the sea moves nearer. Just few weeks ago, the wave struck at night and nearly killed her and her 7-month-old baby.
Your flash now yet even look at the self what about to me so point me you see. I say still breeze now come man say. And I me peja baby no. And I don't know question ma me fufu bi dem. When I want and be best see me ye dey na say san kwot na ho. And they said them nyam shishi me nya scan ka met to Africa.
Amma has lived here for the past 3 years, and in that time the sea has swallowed the land in front of her home.
Na hanu mu say nye dan ba hanu mu de da asase ko pem baby ade ni si no na onye na ya asase ankura no tumi di agro wo ho no menti se ne ade ni ye ni pressure no mpo no se do June July mu aye basa betunya ba ha nyina enya agro kura betunya betumi body ba ha wo ha wontumi ntina na frama agina nti na esa na nyina ye hye dem.
Shiabu is one of the hardest hit coastal communities in Accra. Hundreds of homes have been swallowed by the sea. Some families have left, but many cannot afford to go.
We cannot move unless the sea comes before, because we don't have any place and we move. We don't have any place, we will move. You understand? And we don't have any money to go and, how do you call it, go and rent the apartment. But only premises we have. We are waiting for the Lord.
Along the shore, broken buildings sit along the edge of the sea. Walls are cracked and foundations are exposed. Some homes are already gone.
So do any to us when we say then be self-contained crossing and yes say na at the defense on by our beach side no na ma pressure ni na
Residents believe the construction of the sea defense at Glape, about 2 kilometers away, shifted the pressure to Shiabo.
Our buildings and our room is as corrupt. You know, who the end yet? I'm on the Bobana Beguas, I'm on Twaso Maya. And see, we are telling Ghana that come and do this thing for us. Because,
Reverend Joshua Atto has seen the change, and he says the shoreline has shifted so much that homes that once stood here have disappeared into the sea.
Assembly MP I mean, I know she won't not go put enough for our way. Robert, if you have to work with me, what you obey. And you guys and what you'll find here. I get out the way you me. Tomorrow, you get to New York 22. Get 22 and one way. May never be you. Robert, oh my God, Papa, no family. Over to way. Near she try to get me PT. Mofiamo Pelagade and I got for the machine. She got to get a pobu, but no family. Salobasia.
Residents are asking governments to extend the sea defense to Shiabo so they can stop the waves from destroying what is left of their community.
But
experts say the sea defense is not the full solution. Professor Appiah-Danquah is a coastal processes expert.
Artificial means can never and has never been the solution in fighting a natural system. So sea defense are always not a solution. Basically what we do with sea defense is that we either prevent the ocean from taking sediment away, or we block sediment within the transport part, the sediment transport part. We block and trap sediment so that we build beaches within where erosion is a problem. But in blocking sediment, you are depriving other areas of sediment. So basically what you've done is that you've transferred the problem from one location to the other. And that is why in some areas you realize that in Keta, for instance, sea defense is doing very well, but downdrift erosion has increased. Why? Because the volume of sediment that would have gone to build the beaches and gone to, create a balance in the sediment budget regime are now being blocked and trapped. So the reduced sediment will definitely have an impact. And these are some of the reasons why the downdrift side begin to erode. So to me, sea defense using hard engineering approach has never been a solution. We should now begin to think about managing with nature, and that is nature-based solution.
As the sea advances inland, residents of Shiabo are asking for a chance to stay, but with every wave, that chance is slipping away. Emmanuel Jivenu, Joy News, Shiabo, Accra.
The Ahanta West Municipal Hospital, Bokro, is part of over 100 hospital projects the MPP government under Appiah-Danquah Akufo-Addo rolled out in an effort to improve health infrastructure across the country. This was named Agenda 111. In December 2024, the President commissioned 3 of those hospitals, including the one in Bokro. Since then, nothing has happened here. Joel Kweku is a unit committee chairman for this area.
In fact, we're going to Madam Koho, I know Nyoma or Chade or the hospital in Yujuma. But we why any assets now you or Chade hospital will be a Guduli Yujuma. Tom or how I am Bokofo, especially Hunter West, or how you because what's last Malaya or Bokram, Anupumanam, Agenda 111, Johnson the Diana, Moon the ambulance be about crosswalk. Abadi, I was what they obey about, was perhaps the hospital no Yejuba. All promote to each other, Nippon Port, what don't do a few who another baby them. Into more or Hoyen, a dim that they will be, and so hospital in Yejuma.
This is the Agenda 111 project in Bokro, India Hunter West Municipality. This was one of the few commissioned by former President Nana Addo Akufo-Addo before he left office. Now, after the facility was commissioned, nothing has happened. And today, a closer look at the facility shows a level of deterioration happening. The major question the residents of this municipality are asking is, what is government doing to put this facility to use?
Hospital no age mind because you watch them especially you want cross wall inside that come for chrome and patano asama.
Albert Anderson and Kofi, residents here like Joel, say they only want government to do right by the people of Bokro and Ahanta West as a whole.
Because by now police ganka for now they may I can develop a little bit my yes so say Yamra do not say query hospital so from my idea. That's what the NB say crabwa the minimum maremo 77 patrol be over per year for Donia Bokoroko don bedie yes so for wa men bebre what one mamze doni because I can as camp typical and I could be kuwa e de mo akavakari na wa ho to ajakebe kwan asala sa twike na meseke for your on bio.
I will hope that the government will come and do it best so that the facility will operate. We are waiting for government to put in the facilities so that it will start operating.
The government in its 2026 budget committed 100 million cedis to complete 10 of the Agenda 111 hospitals this year. The question then is, when will the Bokro Hospital be operationalized? For Joy News, Samuel Kojo-Brace, Bokro, Ahanta West, Western Region.
Emergency Operations Center in Pantan, scores of disease control officers keenly monitor screens displaying data on infectious diseases recorded across the various regions. With surveillance systems and protocols in place, Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba, believes the country is well positioned to deal with emerging infectious diseases.
From today, we need to tighten our belts towards that. As I said, you guys have to read more about the disease so that you don't miss.
But preparedness is not just a statement. In many community and district hospitals, when an infectious disease breaks out, there is nowhere designated to manage the case.
The current practice is that when somebody comes with such a disease, let's say, for instance, tuberculosis, we have a very small room that we put the patient in. And there are times where you have to put another infectious disease patient in the same room, putting that other patient at risk of acquiring the tuberculosis.
But in the districts where these infectious disease centers are needed, contractors have abandoned work, while in other areas where the projects have been completed, the medical equipment required to make them functional has yet to be installed.
The original plan was a 30-bed capacity hospital that was supposed to be fully functional. What I mean by fully functional is that it has everything that it requires: a laboratory laboratory unit, X-ray unit, has beds, admitting facilities, anything. And it was supposed to be ready anytime there's an infectious disease outbreak that we needed to do mass admissions and critical care. Unfortunately, the project started really well, but over the years, the contractors have left the site.
Imagine treating tuberculosis, COVID-19, and Mpox patients in the same ward. Different infections, same air, same risk. That's the reality at the Nalarugu's Baptist Medical Center in the Northeast region. When the first suspected Mpox case arrived in Nalarugu last year, there was no specialized infectious disease center waiting. According to the medical director at Baptist Medical Center, Dr. Isabella Amisi, the facility had to rely on makeshift single yard.
We had to create makeshift rooms to house these people, because if you put them in the general population, you are just going to spread the disease to all the patients on the ward you put them in. So an infectious disease center is usually a specialized unit that can contain the diseases, filter the air in the rooms, and allow the patients to heal and recover without posing a great risk to others. So this is very significant because you are limiting the spread, limiting it through the mode of spread, especially usually the airborne diseases. And then there are also special precautions in these wards to help limit other forms of spread, like contact, spread, and all that. So an infectious disease center is one of the ways in which we can prevent public health crisis. So it's very important in any setting. And given that Baptist Medical Center is a big hospital, the risk is more evident if you put even one person in a ward that takes care of 40 patients at a time. So it's very important to have the center built and as quickly as possible, because we don't know when the next pandemic or epidemic will happen. Recently, we had monkeypox. We had to find a place to put them. We could have kept them in such a ward.
This single room was once meant for tuberculosis alone, but over time, when infectious disease patterns changed, the space did not. Dr. Amisi again.
So when the hospital was established, TB was very predominant. So there was a small isolation unit that was built. It houses just about 4 on the TB side at a time, 4 to 8 patients at a time. So that is where we normally put our patients, but it's not differentiated into more units. They are not individualized rooms. So that means if whatever infectious disease comes, are you going to put them all in the same room? So risking all their lives to exposure of, you came with one disease, maybe I came with meningitis, and then I'm lying close to somebody with TB without the systems that filters the air. I may get the person's TB, but I can also be kept in the general ward because I pose a risk to other patients on the general ward. So that we are still managing with that small isolation center, but we have outgrown the center.
In this documentary, Kwetenate explores why some infectious disease centers have been abandoned, the national framework for citing these facilities, and the standard protocol for managing infectious diseases within a single yard. I have come to meet Dr. Franklin Esiedi-Bequin, a public health physician with long-standing experience in disease surveillance, outbreak preparedness, and response. He believes that managing infectious diseases does not depend solely on the space where a patient is treated. According to him, the standard protocol rests on whether the cases can be properly managed there or require isolation.
No, so first and foremost, you need to be able to ascertain the kind of condition you are managing, and then also whether you have the required human resource to manage it. So, let's say if you have a disease condition, first first you need to confirm it and make a determination. After that, you also need to ask yourself, do you have the human resource to manage that case? Then two, you have the required setup in terms of equipment, in terms of management of the case itself. So let's say if you have such a case in a location and you do not have that, the next point of call is that you need to find a way of referral. And clearly now we have our transport by way of ambulances are quite improved in terms of numbers, so we need to refer. So for highly infectious disease conditions, that's where we need to manage them in infectious disease centers, and the prominent one is the one at GIDC. So if we have such a situation, first and foremost, we isolate. We isolate and make a determination whether the case can be managed there or you to refer. So basically, that's the principle in managing infectious disease conditions.
I know this does not fall under your domain, but in an instance whereby, let's say, a facility at a community level has 3 different infectious diseases, let's say tuberculosis, cholera, and let's say mpox, and they only have 1 ward for managing infectious diseases, how should it go, or what should be the standard protocol in this sector?
No, the principle does not change. It's about isolating them. You see, there's some instances that we put up tents. Because the idea is that you don't want the infectious patient to contaminate others. So first you isolate, and then as I say, make a determination what to do. Are you going to refer, or you try and make a makeshift site to manage the case? So that should be the principle. We don't want to mix that pathogen with the general body. So that should be the principle. And then you decide that I'll manage. Let's say if you have Ebola.
At the Eastern Regional Hospital, the holding bay for infectious diseases is an improvised space created during the COVID-19 period. The hospital's management collapsed several units to create the facility, which has an 11-bed capacity. The medical doctor, Akufo-Addo, says it was designed to meet changing trends in disease management.
These emerging diseases, when we have severe cases, be it from the district or we find them out de novo in our facility, we would hold them in the infectious disease center, which we call the medical annex. That is the name we have given to that one. Post-COVID, management has maintained that ward for that purpose. And a few times where we need to seclude patients because of some known diseases which we think may be infectious, for example, a pulmonary tuberculosis where patient is actively coughing, we do transfer to hold them in that area. But there again, this area has reduced the bed capacity for the hospital because it's not actively used for the purpose for which it was intended. I mean, this is a carved out area, but because we understand that these emerging diseases are now becoming rampant and facilities lower than the regional hospitals in the district will depend on our expertise for management. We have decided to dedicate those wards for the management of such cases.
For disease control officers managing different infectious diseases in this makeshift structure, it has become a dilemma. Esther Avoka is the disease control officer.
It's very challenging having just a ward that is serving as a makeshift for infectious diseases. We have various forms of infectious diseases. You cannot mix TB cases with people who are coming in and are being diagnosed with mpox, or cases that may come in whether dengue fever and other infectious diseases. The transmission differs. Okay. So we need to have a space, and even the place is not conducive enough. If you see the airflow of this area, it's not so conducive and where it is located. So it is challenging. Moving cases some out and some in, it defeats the purpose of infection prevention.
So if you have, let's say, 3 different infectious diseases, then what happens?
It means you have to prioritize. All right. You look at the one that is more infectious. So if you are looking at Ebola and you are looking at TB, you prefer to move TB to the ward, which is an airborne condition, and then maybe with nose marks, it is not droplets, it is airborne, it's droplet nuclei. So the infection of TB is less dangerous than if it is a case of Ebola.
The risk of cross-infection to patients and health workers increases significantly. Mrs. Avoka again.
It does, but once you don't have the resources, you have to manage with the little that you have. So currently we are constrained with space, and that's the best that we can do.
This became evident when the region recorded its early cases of Mpox. Jennifer Anno Entry is Disease Control and Surveillance Officer in the Eastern Region. She shares insights on how it was managed.
The person didn't have any history of traveling or any history of, let's say, traveling elsewhere, or he has not traveled even 1 month prior to the onset of the symptoms. So we actually couldn't point out to where the infection was contacted, or we couldn't have traced it. But because he didn't have any travel history, he didn't have history of coming into contact with anyone with similar signs or symptoms.
Can you describe the condition in which your team found this patient?
Okay, so on arrival, we realized the patient was having there was fever, and there were also rashes which were vesicular in nature. When I say vesicular, it means rashes which were in the form of bumps with fluid-filled rash. Yes. And with all over the skin, from the face down to it was scattered all over the body.
Last September, according to dashboard on the command center set up by the Ghana Health Service to monitor infectious diseases, there were 547 epidemic-prone diseases from all 261 districts. Influenza-like illness and severe acute respiratory infections were the most reported cases, closely followed by Mpox and COVID-19. As of the 18th of January 2026, the country had recorded 12 new cases, bringing the total confirmed cases of Mpox to 980.
Since the outbreak began in May 2025, the Ministry of Health, through the Ghana Health Service and with partner support, has activated a coordinated multi-sectorial response aimed at interrupting transmission and protecting public health. For clarity, while 880 cases had been confirmed as at 25th November 2025, the situation update as at 3rd March 2026 is that Ghana has recorded 1,038 confirmed cases and 8 deaths, largely among persons with underlying health conditions. 124 districts across all regions, representing 47.51%, have reported confirmed cases.
But while Nalarigo is yet to record its first case of Mpox, a 15 million Ghana cedis infectious disease treatment center, conceived at the height of COVID-19, has been abandoned. In 2020, the government awarded Macrostructures Limited the contract, 4.5 million cedis. 30% of the total sum was paid upfront. 6 years later, only 10% of the work has been done. When journeys visited, the project was still at the foundation level, with no contractor present. The site had been overtaken by overgrown weeds and stagnant water. Dr. Isabella believes such an infectious disease center would have become a game changer in healthcare delivery, as the current facility has outlived its usefulness.
We more or less represent the region when it comes to all of these infectious diseases. So most people come to us for their care, and we can't keep putting them at risk like that. It's very appropriate to find better ways to manage our infectious disease patients. This is not ideal, if I would say.
Assembly member for Zari Fon electoral area, Bukari Fuseni, said they became anxious given the resurgence of other infectious diseases in parts of the country.
People of this community, we are afraid that if in case we have something like that in our jurisdiction, where are we going to send the person to? So we expect that the government should look for the contractor who the contract was awarded to come back to site to continue, so that as and when something of that nature occur, we can have a place to refer the person to.
Director of Public Health at Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bakwin, explained the national policy on siting of infectious disease centers across the country.
Basically, you need to look at this is the risk of having a condition in a location, and also look at available resources that exist. So for Ghana, we have, I would say, 3 epidemiological zones. We have the northeast zones, the middle, and the coastal. The northeast is more of the Sahel or the Savannah. They have this unique kind of disease conditions, like meningitis. It's more unique. And the northern part of the country, it also has characteristic climate. They have the forests. They see the Ashanti, part of the Easties, and part of the Northern. Those are the forest areas. They have the coastal, which is where we have the seashore, which is common with cholera. So in making a determination, we need to see what disease patterns are you likely to have.
The Auditor General, in a special report on COVID-19 expenditure between March 2020 and 2022, stated that several efforts by the Ministry of Health to get the contractor to return to the site have proved fruitless. The report recommended that the Chief Director of the Ministry of Health recover the mobilization amount, terminate the contract, and re-award it. Failure to do so would require the Director to refund the amount. Efforts to get the Ministry of Health to comment on the matter have proved futile. However, in an RTI request filed by Joy News, the Auditor General indicated that it has not surcharged the Chief Director. When the news team spoke with the contractor, Appiah-Danquah, he blamed delays in payment for their inability to complete the project. He revealed the project has been terminated. Nalarigo is not alone. A 30-bed infectious disease center that was conceived during COVID as part of a national response in the Western region has been abandoned. A public health doctor at the Appiah-Danquah Hospital, Maxwell Appiah, said his team currently operates a 16-bed facility. When it becomes necessary, they resort to erecting tents outside to contain the situation.
And if we are able to complete it, it's going to help us immediately. It's going to increase our capacity to be able to admit more. Currently, our bed size is 16, and on a normal day, we have infectious disease patients, mainly tuberculosis patients, who are on admission in our facilities. And so, if we get an outbreak that needs more patients, often would have to create spaces out of other places. But when we get a 30-bed hospital, it's certainly going to help us to be able to manage them more effectively.
But infrastructure is only one problem. The facility that used to boast of several health practitioners now has one permanent doctor and 5 nurses. Dr. Maxwell Appiah again.
For some time now, the ministry has not been recruiting as many doctors, nurses, and other health professionals as we wanted. And unfortunately, especially during 2023, 2024, the number of healthcare workers left Ghana. Many nurses, doctors, and others left for greener pastures outside. And as always, some will retire and all that. But unfortunately, the service has not been able to recruit enough people to replace those that we lost through these situations. And therefore, there's a huge human resource gap. We currently do not have as many nurses as we require. We do not have as many doctors as we require. And then our lab, for some time now, the lab units, they are not even recruiting lab staff. And all these things has led to significant shortages in human resource. And therefore, we are not able to attend to the patients the way we would have wanted to.
So let's look at how many you've lost and how many are currently serving at the infectious disease center.
Currently, I'm the only permanent doctor here. That's the first thing. And then for my nurses, I remember 2023, 2024 was a very bad year for us. Bad year in the sense that starting from October 2023, every month a nurse left to go outside. So from October, the first one went to Canada. November, the next one went to Canada. December, the next one went to the US. January, the next one, just like that.
The stalled 30-bed infectious disease center is already having telling effects on healthcare in the Western region. In a study conducted by researchers, veteran and others on patients with infectious diseases, overcrowding and health in hospital staff in Finnish, they found out that overcrowded wards contributed to high prevalence of infectious disease among patients. This tends to have adverse effects on the health of hospital workers. For patients, it means delays in accessing services for their family. Alhaji Al-Hassan, a relative of one of the patients receiving care at the facility, said they spent long hours waiting for lab results before doctors proceed with treatment.
I think we send it there for renewable, and at the same time they give us some numbers and then lab tests to go and do the tests.
How long did it take for you to do the labs?
Oh, actually it took about, when they refer you to a field contact, there's a pressure over there. It will take you about 2-3 hours.
In Goso, in the Ahafo region, the infectious disease center stands almost finished. But almost is not enough during an outbreak. When journeys visited the holding center there, it wasn't functional. Sensor control panels have not been installed. Hospital authorities say the team X-ray machine, deep freezer, and stove are yet to be supplied. In Zebula, in the Upper East region, the center is completed, but without ventilators or X-ray machines. Medical superintendent at the Zebula Government Hospital, Ayubi Abdul Rahman, said infectious diseases facility has been repurposed to take care of more pressing needs of the hospital.
Since taking over, we've put it to use. Most of the time, it was handed over, of course. We're not having any issues of any an infectious disease outbreak, and so the facility obviously cannot be left unused, and so we've put it to good use. We have the neonatal intensive care unit that is occupying part of the facility. We also have the pediatric unit also using some sections of the facility, and of course we've reserved some areas in the event that we have cases that we need to isolate, and so that's the current situation.
In December 2025, Ethiopia recorded its first ever outbreak of Marburg virus. Though the country has declared an end to the epidemic, the signal that emerging infectious diseases has no boundaries is clear. As Ghana struggles with unfinished centers, however, Director General of Ghana Health Service, Dr. Samuel Kaba Akoreya, insists the country is ready.
It took one case of shutdown. Many people were COVID. Many people were affected. The entire world went into crisis. And so don't say it's only one case that you might be detecting. It matters a lot. That one case is what is going to shut us down. That one case is what is going to kill you.
The country has emergency operation centers set up at Pantan and Korle-Bu teaching hospitals. A case management team stands by and is activated when necessary to ensure the country does not engage in firefighting in the event of an outbreak. Irrespective of how the picture unfolds, Ghana sits at crossroads of emerging infectious diseases, with bricks, equipment undelivered, and critical infectious disease centers abandoned. The nation's resolve could be tested again, because when the next outbreak comes, the question will not be whether Ghana was warned, but whether leadership acted decisively. For Joy News, this has been Kwete Nati.
Now, let's wrap up the show today by sending our birthday wishes to the man, the Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana, Julius Deborah. Today, you are a year older. Until you are 60 years. You are a man loved by many, right? So on this auspicious day, it is our prayer that the good Lord will keep blessing you and, make you great, make you that lovable person. You are you're accommodating. I mean, my first time meeting you, I was like, wow, this is a very humble man. Keep being that humble person you are. May the good Lord bless you such that all your heart desires will come to pass for you. It is our prayer that the good Lord himself will direct you and direct your path in everything you do, will give you wisdom for you to be intelligent in all your dealings. So happy birthday to you, Honorable Julius Deborah, Chief of Staff of the Republic of Ghana. And once again to you, Manfred Arthur of Biaho. Manfred Media and then into Chuko Kemka and Manfred Yamli Yiro na Yokezri. And the Chief of Staff, Yemi Bauda and Yamli Yokezri, the Chief of Staff. So to it, Manfred, you are celebrating your birthday with the Chief of Staff. So may the good Lord lift you up to the level of the Chief of Staff. Say amen. It will come to pass, okay? All right, my name is Samuel Brace. Let's wrap up the show here. On behalf of the production team, I say thank you for making us part of your morning. Up next, here on the channel, is News Desk. Meet again, God willing, on Monday. Until then, please be good.